Manny, are you excited to step into the ring again?
Yes.
What do you think of Barrios? He's a big, strong, he's young, he's 30. You have 16 years on him, Manny.
Don't worry about it.
When you see the Manny Pacquiao fight, what can you learn from that fight?
You know, it shows that, combination punchers, that's how Pacquiao, was landing, his punches, combinations. And, it just shows you that, he is a great fighter, but, I'm going into this camp, coming into this fight confident, everything right with our game plan. And I'm going to try to execute it as best as I can.
We're here in Manila with the great legendary champion Manny Pacquiao, Sean Gibbons. And Manny.
Recently, Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao engaged in their first face-off before to their in July, precisely 50 days from now, 46-year-old Filipino boxing legend Manny Pacquiao will take on World Boxing Council welterweight Mario Barrios. Because of their age difference, many may consider their fight to be a mismatch, but on the surface, it was more than just an older fighter taking on a younger one.
Like, when I was growing up, he was always a fighter I was studying, I was always watching. He was always one of my favorites. It was so fucking just so technical, even when he was in danger.
The face-off featured a competition between youth and legacy, pitting a younger Mario Barrios brimming with youthful energy against Manny Pacquiao, who has decades of boxing greatness and legacy. While some boxing fans are thrilled to see the beloved boxer return from retirement, many others are concerned that the sport has moved on from Pacquiao and that getting into a professional boxing fight, especially against someone as elite as Barrios, can be risky for anyone, let alone a 46-year-old, whose reflexes have undoubtedly slowed, whose agility has diminished, and whose best days are behind him.
But it's good. Good experience. We give a good action fight.
Interestingly, the sounds that characterize Wild Card Boxing Club have returned, including the thunderous thwacks against the heavy bag and the vicious grunts of a man putting all of his energy into the blows. Record 8 division champion and soon-to-be International Hall of Fame member Manny Pacquiao is back in the game with the intention of reigning as welterweight champion again, this time at the age of 46. Pacquiao told Boxing Scene on August 2nd, 62, "I still have the passion like before, so I'm excited I don't have to worry about that." Pacquiao swiftly moved on from his May 12th election loss to make a return trip to, on February 1st, 29, of San Antonio. Barrios is 30. The Philippine Senate has committed to battle World Boxing Council 147-pound champion Mario Barrios Jr. "I'm sure I'll win the fight," Pacquiao said, "but I'm not taking it lightly and I'm not underestimating him. I have to punish myself like I have in the past by training under Hall of Fame cornerman Freddie Roach and going back to the demanding conditioning regimen that made him and Floyd Mayweather, Gorer, the greatest fighters of this century." Pacquiao claimed that his committed routine will result in a far better performance than the 2 lackluster exhibition fights he's participated in since losing his 2021 welterweight title by decision to Jordan Ugas of Cuba. "I only trained for a week, so everyone can anticipate a strong performance," Pacquiao stated. Manny Pacquiao: "I know the fans are eager to see him again, so I'm working hard and putting in as much effort as I did in the gym because I want to fight hard and not disappoint them." The world titles won by 2 athletes Pacquiao represents this week, Mexico's super flyweight Wilibaldo Garcia and his countryman Pedro Taduran, a minimum weight fighter, have further increased his profile. "I'm happy and excited for them, and I'm happy that I can help others reach my goal," Pacquiao said.
10 seconds.
But you have a mentality. Nobody has kids today just want to get paid. They don't want to fight the best. They don't want to challenge themselves.
No, the payment or the earning or everything like that is
That's the fruits of your labor. I mean, the fruits of your hard work, sacrifices. You don't want sacrifices, then how can you harvest? There's a famous saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
It would be Pacquiao's 13th welterweight title victory since he first had the World Boxing Organization's hand around his waist after a technical knockout of Hall of Fame 4-division champion Miguel Cotto in the 12th round back in 2009. Pacquiao has been thinking about it a lot lately. It means a lot to return. And I asked the Lord Pacquiao, who stated that some people are expecting him to win a world title at the second most advanced age in sports history, included the recently crowned welterweight champion of the secondary world Boxing Association, Rahel Romero, who has demanded a bout with a victorious Pacquiao. I don't know one at a time. I need to focus on this one fight, he said.
Yes. It's good, but I put the video up and all the comments were, thank you for saving boxing. Boxing needed you, man. They're happy. It's not the same without you. It's not as exciting.
You know, I'm so happy because not all of the boxers like me, and giving me strength and physical strength, like physical condition like me. Especially on my
In terms of a fight prediction, this is definitely not what Pacquiao fans were hoping for. It is true that the majority of Barrios' greatest victories have been outscored by others. He was the first of 3 men to outscore Olympian Batir Akhmedov and the third of 4 to outscore Fabian Maidana. He faced Ugos 2 years after the Cuban busted Pacquiao's ghost, and a year after Errol Spence Jr. had already defeated him. The powers that be will tell you stories about Barrios' most recent fight, in which he was dropped and forced to a draw by Abel Ramos, who had lost 3 of his previous 5 fights. Storytellers may even claim that Pacquiao deserves his title opportunity more than Ramos did. Such accomplishments are not unprecedented. The most common example is that of George Foreman, who defeated Michael Moore to win the heavyweight title at the age of 45. However, anyone equating Foreman with Pacquiao fails to note that Foreman had been back in the ring for 7 years at that point, having fought 31 times, 3 of them for world titles. Another example given is the fact that Bernard Hopkins, who is now older than Pacquiao, was the World Boxing Association and International Boxing Federation light champion. King, a 49-year-old heavyweight, the great old executioner, was 3 years older than our iconic subject, but he had no layoff to contend with Hopkins since he was a late-peaked fighter rather than one who retired and then came back years later.
for so long, and I'm still here, kicking, healthy. That's God's goodness. I always praise the Lord.
Manny, for all the fans and
Whatever
media,
happens, I always praise the Lord for everything's happened in my life. Because everything's happened in my life for a purpose, and the Lord my God is good always.
That's a true story. The way you started, very humble.
Barrios is a 29-year-old boxer who has competed 5 times since we last saw Pacquiao in a professional bout. Admittedly, the 2 best opponents he has faced have defeated him. However, he is not the best world champion in boxing, or even in his division. Even though Keith Thurman outscored him by more than 12 rounds and Gervonta Tank Davis stopped him in 11 rounds, this fighter has accumulated elite experience and is still in his physical prime. I also don't think it takes a world-class fighter to defeat 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. Manny appeared to have lost the quick reflexes necessary to follow his supreme boxing technique. The exhibition was hard to watch because Pacquiao's lack of timing and sharpness made it more about what Pacquiao did not do than what he did. Brain Ampo was the biggest boxer Pacquiao had ever faced, standing 6 feet tall.
Sitting on a cardboard, no bed, to the cover of Time magazine. How many people could say that? It's a crazy. It's like 10 different movies.
Can you imagine sleeping in the street, like in the cartoon, and sometimes you eat, sometimes none. You have food, like, you know, amazingly what I have done, what I have accomplished in life. It's because of God's goodness, mercy, and blessings. And it's not because of my.
This incarnation of the man who lost to Ugas had lost a mile, when the previous one had lost a yard. Shortly after losing to former World Boxing Association welterweight champion Yordenis Ugas in the summer of 2021, Pacman declared his retirement from professional boxing. Since then, the Filipino superstar has participated in 2 exhibition fights. Martial arts influencer DKU hasn't bothered him much, but in an interview with Sporting News Australia, professional K1 kickboxer Rukia Ampo made Pacquiao appear elderly and sluggish in a boxing rules exhibition. When asked if he thinks Pacquiao can overcome the odds and win the world title again, Crawford first needed to say 50-50 in only 2 words.
Of my ability or strength or knowledge, it's because of God's mercy and strength.
No, at one time you told me that you used to live in the gym and you had 1 bag of rice for everybody in the gym. How can you box with no nutrition?
That's right.
But you did it.
I did it because my mind is always focused on ahead. Like, I always think.
Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios make an excellent matchup, and I believe that at this age, it's a 50-50 fight. If Pacquiao wins, he will become the oldest world welterweight champion in history, shattering the record he held when he defeated Keith Thurman in 2019 to win the World Boxing Association welterweight title at the age of 40. It has also been confirmed that Pacquiao has partnered with renowned trainer Freddie Roach, who trained the Filipino legend for 34 of his bouts over 16 years before their relationship ended. Few people are better than Khan to predict the result of the bout when Pacquiao makes his boxing comeback at age 46 in July to take on Barrios. This was back in 2018.
It's surprising. Obviously, I know Manny very well. You know, he's a true competitor. He's a guy that if you put something in his head, and obviously to create more history, he's a guy that's going to give everything and, you know, try his best. That's what Manny. One thing I always learned with Manny is give 110% and try your best no matter what. So yeah, he's going to give it his all.
British legend Amir Khan, who won a silver medal at the 2004 Olympics and held the World Boxing Association Super and International Boxing Federation light welterweight titles during his illustrious career, is one person who knows both Pacquiao and World Boxing Council welterweight champion Barrios well. Pacquiao will take on the monumental task of fighting for a world title against Barrios on July 19th. It was intriguing to hear Khan's thoughts on their impending fight in a recent interview with Sky Sports, because the former Olympic medalist and World Boxing Council lightweight champion trained and sparred with Pacquiao back in 2008 and has also sparred with Barrios.
Rumour going around this week that Manny Pacquiao is going to return. What do you make of that?
I don't know. We shall see. I don't know.
Do you think he's too old at 46 to fight Barrios?
I can't say if he's too old or not. You know, if he get in there and win, then everybody will be saying different. So I don't put no limit on an all-time great.
He claimed that his sparring with Pacquiao was extremely honorable and competitive. Khan claimed that the two had apparently sparred more than 300 rounds together and that they were eventually set to face each other. But even though they may have shared 300 rounds, Khan thinks the pound-for-pound greats challenge ahead is a risky one. I think it will be an amazing fight, but if I were to give Manny advice, I wouldn't tell him to return. Speaking to Sky Sports, Khan stated that it would be an even battle if you went back to someone who is already retired, like me, for instance.
Any thoughts on that fight with Mario Barrios, and is there any chance we see you still in there at 46?
Nah, at 46, I don't plan on being back in the ring, you know, but Mario Barrios is a great matchup for Manny Pacquiao, and I think, you know, at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny Pacquiao.
However, when you look at a young fighter who is still fighting and boxing, it can be dangerous at times. Khan was linked to fight Pacquiao for the majority of his career, but it never materialized. In April, the 38-year-old even told Talkport that he would welcome a boxing comeback to face Pacman if the offer was there. After all, he has been out of the ring for a long time, but he still has the fire in his belly. Barrios, I'm sure he's going to come in wanting to win this fight, because it can change his life, Khan added.
Yeah,
I used to spar with him,
but that's why I think people thought that's a dangerous fight for Canelo because of where he was.
For me, it was perfect because why? At that time was because I had just got beat by Prescott, and I went to America to train there to rebuild myself, and I needed somewhere to go, which is gonna make me train hard.
Did you feel you have to move away from the?
When Barrios defeated Yordenis Ugas in September 2023, he became the WBC interim welterweight champion. Ugas was the last person to face Pacquiao, defeating the Filipino legend in August 2021. Barrios has since boxed 5 times and was promoted to full world champion status last June, when Terence Crawford stepped down to become a super welterweight and face Canelo Alvarez. It's an incredible fight for Mario. He needs that big fight. Khan came to the conclusion that facing a legend like Manny Pacquiao, who would reject that, would earn him a good living.
Get rid of all the distractions,
yeah, it was crazy. And then when I went there, you know the first thing Freddie did the first week? Because jump in the ring with Manny Pacquiao and spar with him.
What was that like? Talk us through some sparring stories with Manny Pacquiao.
It's the only spar you will ever see. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's the first ever spar we had. After that, no one.
Mario is worthy of this fight since all fighters aspire to be that big. Payday. It would be great for him when Virgil Hunter and I were training together. I used to spar with him a lot, and he's a very good boxer. I'm not sure how much Manny has left in him, but if they were at their best, I'd say all day Manny Pacquiao, but this fight could be difficult for Pacquiao. He doesn't have to return, but occasionally you do miss the sport, and Manny might miss not receiving the respect and affection he used to receive as a fighter. However, I'm confident that people will come to see him. Pacquiao, an 8 category world champion, is considered one of the best boxers of all time.
Maybe 300 rounds of spar with Manny, and there were some days we did really well, some days we got the better of him, some days we got better of me, but it was a really competitive spar. What Freddie would what Freddie would say about it was like 2 cocks, you throw them up and there's a fight each. Like, that's what you two were like, speed versus speed, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it was an honor to be in the...
Following the announcement that he would be returning to the sport, he was inducted into the World Boxing Council rankings. His most recent appearance saw him battle against Japanese kickboxer Rukia Ampo in July 2024, and after a very difficult night, fans begged him to hang up the gloves. The boxing community was keen for him to avoid any risk.
But I don't know, there's nothing really that materialized from it, you know what I mean? As long as if we can get like a Turkey Sheikh or someone to put the money down and persuade Manny to do this, then yeah, it'll happen. But other than that, I don't think it'll ever happen.
You've been talking. I know you've always wanted.
We know each other. We spoke about it, but it's somewhat about the investment. If someone's willing to put the investment down, and we've not really got any.
Promoter Frank Warren told TalkSport that he thinks it is a negative image for the sport, and that the regulatory body is to blame, not boxing. There was talk of Vladimir Klitschko, but the truth is that these guys are well past their sell-by date. And the facts are that it doesn't benefit the sport or the business. George Foreman returned and won the title at the age of 50. I don't understand that you come in and test the waters going straight into a world title fight.
Jason Statham, come to watch me spar.
Way.
I'm sparring. Guess who walks in afterwards? Behind me. Manny Pacquiao goes, I was watching your movie. To Jason like, my movie? Jason got buzzed on, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, man. But he goes, it was cool because Jason's like, I come to see Amir. You know what I mean? So my way.
In 50 days, Mario Barrios Lockhorns and Manny Pacquiao will face off. And it will be evident which is more important, youth and vibrancy or experience and legacy. While Mario Barrios represents youth, Pacquiao, who is making his comeback in the same year that he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, represents experience and legacy. Boxing professionals have lined up on both sides of the debate, with some choosing the boxing legend despite the apparent disadvantages. What are your thoughts on the fight between Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao? Let us know your predictions before the fight. Please share your thoughts on all of these in the comment section. Until the next time, peace. For the best updates on news moments, events, and actions in the boxing world, stay in touch with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to enable notifications so you can be informed when we release high-quality content like this.